why people are afraid of entrepreneurship, and how do entrepreneurs overcome the fear of failure. So in this video, I'm actually gonna give you some pointers, some tips and lessons that I've actually learned over the past 14 years being an entrepreneur, some of the challenges that I have faced in the past that I have been able to overcome, and of course the ones that I still have to today. We're gonna talk about entrepreneurship and why you should do it. And I'm gonna explain how and how to get over that fear of failure right now. All right guys, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So in this video, I've got my board set up behind me and I want to cover a handful of things about fear of failure in entrepreneurship and why people are afraid sometimes of launching a business and what they can do about it. So if you may or may not know, of course, I've been an entrepreneur for the past 14 years. I have actually been in the food industry for over 30 years myself. My wife and I started our business out of necessity. And that is a really key point that I'm actually going to open this video with, and how to overcome the fear of failure when you want to start a business. So why people are afraid of entrepreneurship. So right off the bat, it's obviously that unknown factor. That part of starting something new. If it's a business, if it's a new life change, if it's having children or getting married, obviously the natural human instinct is to be afraid of the unknown or the unknown outcome of something that you are going to start. Now, Damien, how do you overcome that in the first place to get started with? So the unknown outcome can keep people from doing something right off the bat. When you do make a decision about starting a business, it is out of a couple of different reasons. Number one, it could be out of necessity. Maybe you need an additional stream of income and you want to try to start a new business because your job or you got laid off or your hours are cut or whatever it might be financially. There's a financial reason for you to start a business and it's out of a necessity. Now, as an example, I actually had to start my business in 2008. My wife and I both were let go from our job at the same time. We had literally just got married. We had a very big mortgage and 2 car payments and all of the stuff that I'm sure every single one of you have as well. So when that happened, I knew that that was a sign for me to start the business I was going to do. Leading up to the point that we lost our jobs, it was about a year or so that we were both talking about it and going back and forth about starting a business of our own. I knew within myself that I could do it. I did not know what type of business to start though. That was the biggest challenge. Not fear, but the challenge. But the moment that we were both let go, I knew that we had only so much in our savings. We only had so much money available to get by for a few months. So that for me was the motivational factor to start my own business. Knowing right off the bat that I could do it, but not knowing exactly what the business was, those were the two things that were going on in my mind. But for me, the starting of a business became a necessity. So how did I start this and overcome that fear, Damien? So I knew within that moment that I did not have a choice to fail or not, or to not have it work. It was going to work. I was going to make it work. And that was my mindset. Clear cut to that point, I knew that I had to, as the husband of a wife and a head of the household, that I needed to start my business. And I was going to make it succeed. Whatever it took, however much time, whatever resources I had, I started with what I had, decided to move forward, made a decision to start the business, which actually was our Italian bakery, and I did not know, not at all, what I was doing. There were so many questions and so many things coming up, and that brings me to a key point. Many times the fear of starting a business is simply a lack of answers to questions. The fear of starting a business is simply the lack of answers to all of your questions. I found that out for myself, that in order for me to start my business, I had pages and pages of questions that I had no idea what to do about getting inspections, of getting equipment, how much could I rent a place for, did I need insurance? I knew none of that. But that in some cases for some people stopped them dead in their tracks from making the decision to move forward to start a business. Keep in mind, getting answers to questions will alleviate the majority of your fear as an entrepreneurship, because once you know what it is you need to do and know how to do it, then all you have to do is simply take action on it. So when you know for the fact that you have all of these things that need to be answered, all these questions, these unknowns, when you begin to get them as known, then you will know exactly what to do. And all you simply need to do at that point, this will determine your success or your failure, is the fact that you need to take action on the things you have learned. So keep that in mind. For me, my own little philosophy is the fact that you are afraid of starting a business is simply not having answers to the questions that you have. So get those answers, find out what it is or what it takes to do what it is you need to do, then simply do it, okay? The moment you start doing it, you will get this exhilaration, because I went through this, I had this, and my wife had it. We got an excitement the first day that we got the rent and we started renting out the space that we needed for the business. The equipment that came off the truck, my wife and I both, we were the only ones there. We had to bring it into the bakery at the time and set it up. All of that began this excitement, and we started to realize we couldn't do this because we found out the answers to the questions that we needed to make the first step. So the fear of failure can be squashed very quickly when you realize that you just need to simply get answers to questions because you don't know them. And that is fine. It's okay that you don't know them. But it's not okay to allow yourself to stay put in the job that you don't want to do. Stay put in a financial situation that's not paying your bills in order for you to move forward and create a business that can pay your bills, that can create a lifestyle for you. You simply need to get answers to questions. Now, next one up is not having the resources. So many people are afraid of entrepreneurship because they think that they have to have all the resources that a business takes on the first day when you launch a business. Guess what? You don't. I didn't have enough money to do what I did. I started with what I had. I built it out and started small and just continued to build on it. I didn't have all the people. That at the time when we first opened, it was just literally my wife and myself, and I had some family members who came in to help every now and then, but it was just us. So you need to count on the resources, the people, and everything you have right now at the moment that you have them. You will never have all of the money, the questions answered, all of the resources, all of the connections, employees. That doesn't happen on the first day of a business. You need to pull together what you have and simply use the resources that you have right now. And if it happens to be $1,000 to start a business, well then start a business with $1,000. If you're thinking, well, Damien, I need way more than that to start the kind of business I have, so then you need to backtrack for a moment, sit down and say, where can I start with the things I have? Where can I start with the people that I have? If you've got a family member who wants to start a business with you, great. Well, then you've already got an employee. Count that as a plus and a benefit and move forward with that. Start with everything that you've got at this moment, because if you procrastinate and you wait long enough to have all the things you think that you need to have, you're never going to have them and you're never going to start a business. Trust me. Going against others' advice, those who quote unquote think they know better. I heard that for years, mainly not necessarily from friends and family, believe it or not, but from those who I was actually close to in the businesses that I worked for, some of the managers that I worked for, some of my own bosses. When I brought up the idea, I'll never forget that conversation. I brought up the idea to one of my bosses one day, and he literally said, Damien, this is not the economy. This is not the time to start a business. He says, you better just keep tight with your business, the job that you have here. You need to just keep on punching the clock, because this economy is not going to be very successful oriented for your type of business. The idea that you're starting what you want to start, this is not the time to do it. It was never the time to do it. That is nonsense. If you allow yourself to believe what others think or their experiences of life, and they start giving it to you, telling you that they know best, they already experienced it, or maybe they haven't even experienced it all, but they keep helping you to procrastinate your decision making, then you will have fear of entrepreneurship. You need to put all of those people to silent mode. You need to not listen to their advice. If you have an idea for a business or an idea for a product or an invention, whatever it is that you have a passion to do, you need to listen to that little voice in your head more than anyone around you. Even your mom, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your dad, your friends, your family, all of them. If they are not on the boat in the same track as you, then you need to go on the boat in the track by yourself. And if it happens to be that you take that launch or that leap by yourself, then so be it. Stay focused on the thing that you wanted to do and the thing that you have a passion for, and then figure out how to obviously turn that into a business. And in that, in case, has to be the motivating factor in your own mind to push you in the direction you need to go. Because if you listen to these so-called friends or the people who know best, all of your life you will be 90 years old and headed for the grave and never taking the risk or the chance of listening to yourself when you could have told yourself that you could have started a business. So the fear of starting a business from an entrepreneur perspective needs to be one of your own mindset, not what other people think they should do. They may well mean well, they may think that they're trying to help, but they're not. They're actually holding you back from doing something that you intended to do. So going against others, that's another reason why people are afraid of entrepreneurship. Next up is going at it alone. Let me tell you something. When I started the business that I had first started, the only person at that time, other than my wife and myself, that was going to do it was me, was myself, was us. That was it. So going at it alone, in many cases when you launch a new idea or a product or a new business of any kind, you may be the only one interested in doing it. You may have the only passion around you for doing the thing that you want to do. And that is okay. Because at some point in time, you will attract other people who agree with you about your business, who are just as passionate about what you're doing, and they will become employees, they will become partners, they may even become venture capitalists who invest a lot of money in your business. But if it takes just you to get started with your own idea, then so be it. Why do you have to have 100 people around you patting you on the back and telling you, that's a great idea, Damien, you should do that? We're all going to stand here and keep your confidence up, and we're going to keep patting you on the back because we think that it's a great idea what you're going to do. What is that? You need to someday at some point in time realize that the initial start of a business or a plan needs to be you. And if you start it and you are passionate enough about it, trust me, you will attract people around you who will want to jump on board, who will want to be a part of your business. So going at it alone, again, that's something that keeps a lot of people afraid from entrepreneurship because of all of what they think they have to do, and it's so overwhelming, and I'm gonna do it all by myself. Well, sometimes you have to get it done and you have to do it by yourself. That's just the way it is. So at the end of the day, if you believe enough in what you're doing, you will just do it. Just do it and start it. How do entrepreneurs overcome the fear of failure? So the one thing that I have actually been able to discipline myself over the past, believe it or not, only about 4 or 5 years now. When I first started, this is not the mentality, this is not the mindset that I had, but I do have it now, and nothing will change it, is that I have never, in the past 4 or 5 years since I have learned how to do this, I have never looked at a decision as a failure or a success. So I have never failed in the past 4 or 5 years at my business and every single decision that I have made. And let me explain what I mean by that. This mentality is simply one of learning. If you want to overcome your inability to succeed or your inability to start or the fear you have for something because you think that you're going to fail, by the way, you need to determine whatever that means for you. Everyone has their own interpretation of what failure is or could be. You need to decide, what is failure for me? Is it not making enough money? Is it not having the business closed down after I put all this effort into it? Draining all the resources that I have? Whatever that failure is, you need to address that and understand what that is for you. For me right now, I have created a mentality that I make so many decisions every single day. Every decision I make doesn't pan out the way I want, but I don't look at it from a perspective of failure. I look at it from the perspective of learning. If I make a decision and it doesn't work out, I say, you know what, Damien? Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, only you can teach you. Only you can teach you. If you could be your own teacher and tell yourself, look, that decision that I made didn't pan out the way I wanted to. So let me take a step back. Let me look at what I did. What did I decide to do? And then make another decision. You're going to rectify that decision that you think is a failure by learning from it, and then make a new decision to get the outcome you want. Everything that I have done, I have been able to build multiple YouTube channels. We have over 30 million views here on YouTube with all of our channels. We have nearly 200,000 subscribers and growing. I operate 6 e-commerce businesses and 3 podcasts, 2 blogs, and I have a family that I work obviously in between that too, and we're expecting our new baby in the next couple of weeks as well, so we have our second child coming. So the reason why I tell you all of this is that I could not do all of those things if I kept second guessing myself and thinking to myself that my decision making was failing. If I made a decision to create a video and it didn't pan out very well, I'm not going to sit there and cry about it, just make another video. If I make a decision and it doesn't pan out financially and maybe that was not a smart decision, make another decision to correct that one. So then you get a mentality of learning. If I'm constantly learning, I'm not going to beat myself up because of the decision that I made over a certain business decision. I'm going to keep making decisions every day. And from those, I'm just going to simply get better at making my decisions so I don't do it again. So that is a perspective at looking at failure and success, because every single decision could potentially be a success for you when you look at it in that way. So don't look at every decision that you make as a failure or success. Simply learn. Keep learning over and over and over. Every day you're going to learn. Letting others down. So entrepreneurs have a fear of failure because they think that what they do and decide, they're going to let other people down because it doesn't pan out the way you were supposed to have it pan out. That is something you need to cast out and get out of your head immediately. I am not in the business, and this may sound a little odd to you, but let me tell you, I'm not in the business to impress my wife. I'm not in the business to impress my family. I'm not in the business to impress anybody. The only person that I answer to is myself. When I lay my head down on the pillow at night, at the end of the day, and I've run my business, I am the only one who can actually critique myself. I am the only one who I let down. I don't let other people down because I have never set up what I do to impress them. I'm not here to impress even my mom, my father, my dad. None of that means anything. I love my family, I love my wife, I love everybody who around me, but I don't do my business and conduct my business to impress them. Nor do I impress my friends or try to get them to pat me on the back because I don't care what they think about my business. That's not being cold-hearted, that's just being honest. I didn't start my business to hold a banner up and say, hey, look at me, I'm a successful guy. I did it out of necessity, and I do it now to succeed and to set goals that I can obtain. So I don't want to impress other people by doing that. I could care too less about what people think about my business. I'm the biggest critic for myself, and if I can sit down at the end of the day and know that I gave it all that I could, and I succeeded on another day, and tomorrow I'm going to do even more success, then I'm good to go. And for my eyes, that seems to be success. So I'm not interested in letting other people down. I'm interested more in succeeding in achieving the goals that I've set for myself. I could care less what other people think. Pinpoint your idea of success. This is one of the biggest problems today, especially the craziness about YouTube. YouTube is such a great platform, but there are so many people who watch videos over and over and compare their life or their level of success to others. And if I can't achieve that, then I'm not going to be successful for myself. That is a big no-no. There is no way that you could be a successful entrepreneur at any given point in time when you can't pinpoint your idea of success. You need to sit down and figure out what is success for me. At the time I started my business, when I was let go from my job, success for me was bringing in any money at that time so I could pay my bills, so I can make sure my mortgage gets paid and my cars get paid and my bills get paid at my business. So for me at that point in time, that little bit of success, that was for me succeeding. Not driving a Lamborghini or making $10 million. All of that sounds nice and great, but that was not my viewpoint and my idea of success. At that time, I wanted it to succeed. Get from one month to the next, growing the business, paying the bills, and getting some experience as a business owner, that for me was success. So pinpointing your idea of success will help eliminate the fear of failure because you're not setting yourself up for disappointment because you're not achieving what Bill Gates has done or you're not achieving what Elon Musk has done. All of them are on different levels and different planes in their own life. They have their own success in their own different way. So if you don't achieve that, that's not your success. Your success is dependent upon you. Lack of mentality of success. Let me tell you a little bit something about this. Your mindset will be the most foundational thing that you will ever build in succeeding in a business. Not having resources of millions of dollars, having a whole bunch of people working for you, unlimited amount of cash, whatever that may be. Your mindset will set and start your idea of the success you'll have in your business from the gate. So if your mindset is one of lack, limitation, inability, failure, unsuccessfulness, then all of that's going to hinder your ability to succeed in a business. You need to get the mindset of what successful people have. People like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all the Jeff Bezos of the world never thought to themselves of lack or limitation or inability. They know for a fact that the world works on abundance. There is abundance everywhere. There's abundance of opportunity online. There's abundance of money to be made and to be gotten rid of. There's an abundance of resources for you to use. There's an abundance of knowledge online. There's abundance of information. There is a nonstop plethora of everything you need to succeed. But if your mind is not set on that, you will never attract it. You will never get it. You will not succeed. You have to unlimit yourself in your mentality first. Your mental thought process is what's going to dictate the amount of success you'll have in anything you do. Look at anybody who's created anything abundantly. Michael Jordan, he would never achieve all of the goals that he has done in his life by thinking that he couldn't put a ball in a hoop. So you have to have the mindset first. It's a fact. If you don't, then you're already in a failure mindset. Get rid of all of those who don't push you. If you have friends who don't believe in what you're doing, they think you're crazy, it's a waste of time. Oh, we never see you anymore, Damien, on the weekends. You're always working, you're always doing it. Well, guess what? The grind is what you're going to have to do in order for you to succeed. And if those friends are not the ones pushing you, then you need to find some new friends. If you've known those people for 20 or 30 years and you start a business and they're talking nothing but negative, then guess what? You need to sever ties with them. You have family members who are talking trash and telling you all these negative things. Don't talk to them. Say, look, I'm too busy succeeding and building something that I believe in. If you don't have people around you to push you, then you need to push them away. If you don't have people around you who are pushing you, then you need to push them away. Negative mindsets are not going to be those people who are going to succeed in life. And if you continue to allow them to affect the way you think, you're never going to succeed either. Okay? Next up, entrepreneurs are creators in what can be. If you don't have a creative mindset, that's okay. You can develop it. You can foster a creative mindset. Entrepreneurs who have made anything in this world and who have made ridiculous amounts of success create. They don't duplicate. They create. So if you have a creative mindset, you may have the ability to be truly successful as an entrepreneur. They create things that are not already in existence. So what I mean by that is you're not competing for something that's already in the marketplace or an idea. You are creative. People who are entrepreneurs have to think creatively every single day. Trust me, I still do 14 years later. There's problems that arise, you got to create a way to solve them. You have a new idea, you need to create a way to market it. If you have anything that you're trying to pursue, you have to create it. It's not something like, if you don't want to be one of those creative entrepreneurs, then go to your job, punch the clock, because I did this for 25 years. Go to your job, punch your clock, have someone tell you what to do, put your products up, take care of customers, and do that for 8 hours for about 20 or 30 years. If you don't want to think for yourself and think in a creative way, don't approach entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are creators, and that is a fact, hands down. So if you are looking to create an entrepreneurial lifestyle and you want to be an entrepreneur, guess what? These are the things you need to think about and readjust the way you think of things and the perspective you have on starting a business. All of your planning, all of your thinking, all the writing down, all the talking and all that, well, there comes a point in time when all of that needs to cease and desist and stop. You need to take some action upon what you want to do, because if you don't take action, then you're just like everybody else. You're talking a whole bunch of hot air. Nothing's going to happen. So, why people are afraid of entrepreneurship and how do entrepreneurs overcome fear of failure? Those are some tips and pointers that I hopefully get through to you. And if they did, give me a big thumbs up. As always, any support that you can give us, definitely appreciate it. And super thanks. If this video was super helpful, give us a super thanks. I'll see you guys on our next video.